Good morning, good afternoon, day 3. All right. I'd love to know, as we still have people come in, don't want to just dive right in, but can you just tell me one big takeaway for those of you that have been on from day 1, day 2? What's kind of been the one big takeaway that I absolutely have to implement this to ensure that summer is successful? Let us know in the chat. Pull the trigger now. Know my numbers. Yes. Mets, you have your spreadsheet in front of you that you always have? Is it
I
there?
do it in my chair. Would you like to see it?
I would.
Terry moves me over here.
Yeah. So know your numbers, know your business. If you ever go into HQ in Orlando, you're going to see that on his desk. What is it, Mr. Metzger?
So this is what I get on my desk every month with all the schools. And it tells me, and I'll just tell you very quickly, the monthly billing, the difference from the previous year, the average quarterly revenue, new students, upgrades, renewals, active count, how many students we lost, what the average student value is, and our attrition rate for every school.
And that way you can make data-driven decisions and not emotional ones or egotistical ones. Numbers in your business always tells stories. So that was great. A lot of feedback on getting the moms on the mat. And that was something Mr. Tossel shared just kind of out of the blue. Wasn't even really like part of the presentation on day 1. A lot of community events I'm seeing in here in the comments. Summer specials. Mr. Morales says Mets can rock all colors. Yeah, it's 3 different colors this week. It was good.
Same shirt, different colors.
Taking action on self-defense and marketing. Yeah, typically the majority of our sessions are about, growing kids programs because most schools, that's their focus, but definitely wanted to highlight how you could grow your adult program. So glad you found value in that. And then what you do early in the morning until class time, 100%. Thank you, sir. All right.
And by the way, congratulations for some of the people that took action on trusting and joining My Elite. We're going to change your life. The rest of you can decide by the end of the day. We'd love to have you, but I'm going to back up what I said yesterday for those of you who took action.
All right. Let me just pull up the agenda really quickly for you guys here. So we're going to kick it off with Tass. He's talking about the power stack, 5 layers of marketing that will multiply your results. It's going to be a writer downer, guys. So get your pen and your paper. Then Mr. Metzger is going to talk about how you can continue to crush the summer. And then I'm going to wrap us up with an action plan so that you guys can put into action now exactly everything that you are learning. As a reminder, all of the recordings are located on that URL. We will get them up before the end of the day. If there was a keynote, there's the keynotes in there. The giveaways are only for people that are on live. We do have an additional giveaway and a super cool bonus for those of you that are action takers and decide to join Elite. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but really, really excited. First time we're ever offering this. And it's amazing. So that's going to be our day-to-day from 12 to 2. And Tass, if you'd like to take it away, it's all you, sir.
Very nice.
Should we clap? Should everybody start clapping?
Everybody
Let's
should
go.
No, please, everybody stand and bow. That would be great. No, just teasing everybody. Well, hello, everybody. Well, I realized I still have my hospital wristband on. That's from my cardiology appointment today because you guys all stressed me out so much. I had to get my heart checked. No, on a serious note, listen, I'm excited for everyone to be here. I'm excited to share with everybody. Chris, in just a minute, I don't know if you'd be surprised or not that I don't have a PowerPoint, but I actually do have one. So I'm going to need screen permissions in just a little while to be able to share that. But first, I just want to go through, some of you may have heard my story. Some of you may have not. And I just want to share it just because some of you may be some of you might be in the elite program right now, right? And you may be maybe a little flatline. Maybe you haven't taken the action. I just saw, I think Mr. Gabriel made a comment there. I'm going to call Mr. Gabriel, all right? Hey, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm excited about the summer special. I've been in elite for a long time now. We haven't pulled the trigger on summer special, right? So I love the fact that he's being honest and transparent with that. Look, when I got involved with Maya as a client, man, I don't know, time goes by so fast, 13, 14 years ago now, I was grossing $250,000 a year in my school. And I was, at the time, right, I was broke on 250 grand a year, right? Because that was gross and we had to pay expenses, all the things. So we just weren't making it. I was in foreclosure, was going through bankruptcy, all the things were going on. And here's the sad part about that. Most of us are wired where we do not take massive action until the pain is great enough for us to avoid the pain to make a difference or a change. Some of us are complacent because we're okay right now. We're happy, we're satisfied, we're in an okay place. I don't want to make adjustments or changes in my business because I'm afraid of, well, what if I go down? But what you don't know is what if you explode forward? And that's what I didn't know 14 years ago, because I was involved in a lot of different programs and I was doing a lot of different things. And then I came on board with Maya after a 2.5 hour conversation with Mr. Metzger at a super show. And he finally just said, listen, I know I can help, with his hoarse voice, because it was day 3 or whatever it was of the super show. And he just had talked all weekend. And I just finally took the plunge, right? And for me, and I think for anybody, the investment was kind of a big gulp. Like, man, that's a big gulp for me to swallow that. And what if I'm going to do that? And some of you may look at that as an expense. Some of you may look at it as an investment. And here's the deal. It's an expense if you're not going to do anything. It's an unbelievable investment if you're going to put the work in, because the return on the investment is huge. Why do I say that? Because I jumped on board with Elite in the summer, that July, right? I implemented, changed things, got things, everything set the way I wanted to for September 1st, right? Took massive action. That's a writer down or key point. The people that succeed in this business take massive action quickly, right? They take what they learn, they execute it, and they implement it. Took massive action. The following year, we did $360,000 in revenue. I want you to pay attention. That's a $110,000 jump in revenue. The following year was $440,000. The following year was $552,000. The following year was $660,000. The following year was $720-some thousand. We did 6-figure jumps year after year after year after year. And as I looked back, I'm like, man, it doesn't feel like we changed a lot of stuff. Like, we were doing all the stuff. Everything that you've heard in the last 2 days, we were doing those things. This is the important part. What we weren't doing is those things with the small details that mattered. And that is what created massive growth for us. And that is also what I believe will create massive growth for most all of you when you pay attention to those details and you execute. These are not things that are theory or hyperbole. They've been tested, tried and true over and over. We do them all the time. So I'm excited, because if you're here because you want to grow, you're in the right spot, right? I think you know that after 2 days of being here. So I don't have a lot of time, and Mr. Metzger oftentimes says, or just told me this morning, that I tend to repeat myself a lot, and I do that because he's also told me that a lot of times people don't hear you the first time. So I apologize in advance if I repeat myself. I will try not to do that. But it's usually to drive home a point, right? That's why I'm doing it. So, Chris, do I have screen share permissions?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you. I am going to do this. Let's just see if this works. If I go to desktop and share, and there all of you are, and there all of this is, and there all of that is. And are we okay? We good,
Are
Chris?
you using one of my favorite AI softwares?
I wasn't going to tell. I mean, I put a lot of time, effort, energy, and hours into this.
The URL gives it away.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Yeah, unbelievable, right? And so those of you that, I don't want to give away too much of the secret sauce, but if you're not using AI to leverage your time, like, of course, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So you have to put in the right information, but it saves an unbelievable amount of time. So yes, And by the way, I'm wearing my Huck shirt on purpose today, which is, if you don't know the brand, it's a fishing brand. And Chris always says you have to have many lines in the water in order for you to get better results.
Segue.
So what does that have to do with what I'm talking about? Number one, some of you may already know this, and this is not going to be something new or revolutionary for you. Some of you that are already in the elite program are going to see this, and you may want to tune out, and you're going to say, you know what? I already know what he's talking about, right? You're like, oh, the 5 levels of marketing. I've heard this before. That's wonderful. Are you doing it? Are you executing it? And you may just pick up a gem or two today. And for those of you that haven't heard it, right, this is going to be great. And also, by the way, there's going to be some of you that are on here that again, you may just pick up something new as you go through. So the power stack, 5 levels of marketing that will multiply your results, right? Stack your marketing like firewood. One spark may fizzle, but when stacked right, things are going to catch fire. So here's the challenge. The challenge is, and is it just me, or can everybody see that? Oh, I can move this thing. Okay, there we go. I can move that. Here's the challenge. Here's the problem, right? The problem is isolated marketing, right? And so as we go through this again, I'm just going to pre-frame. If you are a adult-based school, this works just as good for you. Some of the examples in here may be for kids, but I need you to understand the concept of what we're talking about. So isolated marketing, that's the problem. The problem is this. A lot of us have a single channel of reliance. And what does that mean, right? Well, most of us, we have the 1 or 2 go-to things that we do for marketing. And here's the challenge. The challenge is that sometimes those 1 or 2 things are not even done on purpose, right? Like when I talk to school owners, like, well, our number 1 source of new students is referrals. Okay, great. Do you have a referral program? Are you giving out 2 buddy passes or VIP passes at the point of enrollment? Or are you just referring people or getting referrals by mistake, or is it done on purpose, right? And so these are some of the things that we want to think about. I know a lot of people are using GrowPro as an example, right? We use GrowPro. And so when you look at that, you go, well, great. You're using GrowPro, and why are you doing that? Well, because you want to get results. You want to generate new students, because I think you all understand there's 2 pieces. Number 1, we have to fix our business systems to generate a higher student value, right? Number 2, once that's fixed, we all need new students on a consistent basis. What seems to be the easiest way to do that? Well, the easiest way to do that is, here, Chris, take my credit card, your company, and just do it for me. And that is very easy for us to do, right? As opposed to going to take a course to understand Facebook ads and how they work and do all the things. And you should be doing that. But for a lot of us, maybe we're not doing that as an example, or maybe we've had really great success with it, and it's the only thing that we're doing. And that is okay for now, but it's temporary. And what's going to happen is you may have, when I say temporary, by the way, is temporary a week or a month? No, I mean, temporary can be 5 years, right? But what I don't want anyone to be in a spot where you're in a spot where, or in a position where if it just falls off a cliff, that you don't know what to do to generate new students in your school, right? Because the algorithms could get messed up. There could be a new platform that comes out. Your market could all of a sudden be, tapped. There's a lot of things that can happen. So relying on 1 or 2 sources of or ways of marketing is very dangerous. Jay Abraham, big time marketer back in the day, right? He likes to have this Parthenon effect, right? There's a diving board, which the diving board is on one platform, and if that breaks, right, everything falls. But if there's this Parthenon effect or pillars, there's all these different pillars that hold your business up. In our case, the levels of marketing. We're going to be okay if one of those doesn't work, because the other ones will. And so that's what I want to talk about, right? The other thing is we have insufficient reach. And what does that mean? Well, if you're talking in social media terms, you can pay more for more reach or go wider. But what I mean is that we're not reaching enough people in enough different ways, right? So if I hit them on social media, that's great. But where else are we being seen, right? How many of you, I'm curious, you close down, you're going to be closing down for a day of classes because I'll give an example that's coming up. Memorial Day weekend, you're going to be closed on Monday as an example, right? You make the announcements that you're closed, right? Or maybe you have a special seminar. We're closed. Every class you make the announcements, you send out the text messages, you send out the push notifications, you do all the things. And you still have some people that will show up for class. Has that ever happened to anybody, right? Well, if that's happened, and I know you're thinking, most of you are like, are they freaking stupid? Like, we've made announcements every single class. We've told them they're not here. Well, if that's happening with your students who you believe you are over communicating with, guess what? It's also happening in your marketing. You may think you're marketing more than you actually are. And so this is what we want to talk about. And then part 3 is shiny object syndrome, right? You abandon the tactics that work instead of stacking the different efforts, right? And that you're doing. And so let's go through these, right? Click on this and all right, good. All right, here's the promise, right? You start to do this, you're gonna get and become more effective. I'll say 5x because I'm using the 5 layers, but it might be 10x, it could be 20x, by the way, it could be 2x or 3x, but anything multiplied from what you have now is going to be better, unless, of course, the answer is 0, and then 1 would be a drastic improvement. So here are what we refer to as the 5 levels or 5 layers of marketing, right? And these are going to go from most personal to least personal. And again, some of you have already seen this or you already know this, but number 1, in person. You're in, and I'm going to give examples of this in just a few minutes, right? But in person is what we would call our level number 5, right? So I inverted this to go from most personal to least personal. Your next layer is phone calls, right? Well, that's you have a warm voice, someone that's actually talking to or you're talking to on the other end of the line. Number next is print and mail, and that's something that's tangible. They can touch it, feel it, see it, right? It's in their mailbox. And by the way, it could be a door hanger on their door. There's examples I'll give in just a moment. Next is emails and texts. Well, that's more of that, like what we refer to as the personal ping, right? Like, it's more personal when you get a text message from somebody that you make personal, by the way, not there's some automated texts that do not look personal, right? But when you make that text message or that email personal. And then lastly is social media, and it's the least personal of all, right? But then if you look at this funnel or this triangle going from the bottom up, what's the fastest way to have the biggest reach? Of course, paid social media, because you're reaching a large number of people, right? 10,000, 20,000 people. But let me ask you a question, and I'll exaggerate this for a moment. Do you need social media? 100% you need social media, 100%. But if you had the choice of reaching out to 10,000 people via social media, or having a table or booth set up and talking to 10,000 people individually, the question I have for you is, where do you believe that you would be more successful in enrolling a student? 10,000 people via social media or 10,000 people one-on-one conversations? And the answer is, you of course are going to say it's in person, because when I talk to most school owners, here's what I hear. Just get them in the door and we will get them enrolled. That's what I hear from most everybody. So if that's the case, you would agree that the in-person is better than social media. But we need to understand it's a mix of all of these things that can explode our marketing. Now, on that, I want to make sure that you also understand what you think and what may be reality, if you're not keeping stats and numbers, is important. So I just had a touch base meeting with the team yesterday. And in my heart and in my gut, I believe that we were doing 90% enrollment from the trial to the actual enrollment, right? So we tend to bring everybody in on a trial. There's reasons why we like the objective, just so we're all clear, is to go from lead to student with as few steps as possible. I want to be clear about that, right? But we bring people in on a trial. And when we do that, right, we have a progress check to convert them. And so in my mind and in my gut, I felt like we were enrolling 90%. And after the touch base meeting yesterday, I realized because of certain things that are really out of our control, and this happens to all of us. There was a child that was too young. There was someone that just got in a car accident that was in his 20s and he had to get his car fixed, couldn't afford it. There's certain circumstantial things that are going to happen that are going to prevent people from enrolling into our program. And that's okay. But when I got a glimpse at what the real number was, which was like 60% of everybody, right? I was like, okay, we need some work, but also there are things that are outside of our control. So yes, tracking and managing your numbers is extremely important because it tells you the story and lets us know what we need to do with our marketing. Do we got to ratchet things up just to get more people because those things are going to happen, right? Or are we good doing what we're doing? All right, next slide. So level one, right? Level one marketing is social media. So I just inverted, like I said, this is the least personal, but inverted. I just give you some examples here. And as I go through these levels of marketing, some of you have heard this before. And I think what we maybe take away from this is what I need to do is I need to do all 5 levels. And as an example, okay, let me check the box. Social media, yep, we're paying GrowPro to do our social media marketing. Box checked. The only reason that I did this, right, was to give you some other examples of how you can, and this is a very, very, very limited list. And this is a great opportunity for you to get with your team and say, man, what are some other things that we could do on social media in that level 1 marketing to take a deeper dive and do more as opposed to just surface level on social media. Number 1, organic content, right? So organic content needs to happen on a regular basis. And I think sometimes I've had a little bit of a challenge with this, right? Like, man, I just don't know what to do. And then there's times like yesterday, I'm like, this is the easiest business in the world to create content for. It's the easiest business in the industry, in the world to create content for. So you just need to get out there and do it. Like, go through and produce the content and get it posted. So recently, I'll be honest, we just started getting and doing more organic content on our page. Videos of our kids and students, pictures of our students, all the things. And what's interesting to me is as we've started to do that, right, I have seen, I didn't realize you could see this, but you can actually see on Instagram who's actually looking at your stuff, right? So if you guys are like snooping around and creeping on people, just know they can see you looking at their stuff. But I'm seeing a lot of former students that are watching our stuff. I'm like, that's interesting. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, man, if we could create some really cool content, right? Like, I think most all of us can relate. If you got done watching an action-packed martial art movie, most of you after the movie want to get up and you just want to go train and work out. Well, what could that do to reactivate some potential old students? The other part of this in social media, so we've got organic content. And in that organic content, I will tell you this, one of the things I love about Maya Edge, right, which is our website for our elite clients, is we have a whole social media calendar done for you, right? And so at bare minimum, you've got something that you can literally take, copy, paste it, and put it in. And at least you have that going for you. So there's no excuse like, well, I just didn't have time. I don't know how to use the video editing software. You've got something ready for you and done. That's a very, very big benefit for us as well. So we do the organic content, shoot our own stuff, shoot our own photos, but we also use the social media calendar that's provided on a monthly basis, which is all done for us, which is amazing. Number 2, under social media, paid ads. We talked about that, right? You can pay for marketing, whether you're doing boosts or you're doing, paid Facebook ads. Chris is the expert on that. Of course, the paid Facebook ads are going to work better than boosts. I think there's a time for boosts, but majority of the time, paid ads. Local groups, like, do you have anybody that's in a local group, a mom's group? Like, we have a Moms Run This Town. It's a running group for moms, right? Specifically, there's a parenting group that's in our town. Do you have someone that you can get in that group and on your behalf? Or maybe it's you, right? Maybe you're a husband-wife team, right? I'm not saying there's not dads groups, right? But moms groups are typically the ones, if we're talking about kids here, moms groups are typically the ones that are talking about, hey, this event for my kid or this activity for my child. And we don't want to go in and spam them, but let's just have conversation and let's participate in the conversation. So post and mom in different community groups. And then, of course, live videos that build trust and buzz in your school and so on and so forth. Again, a very, very small sampling for you just to kind of take a peek at and look at. But then you can get more creative as to how you want to do these things. Okay. Level 2, email/text. Man, this is a huge, huge list, right? So when we start to look at this, again, these are just, hopefully these are just ideas that maybe will spark something for you. And I will tie all this together in a nice little package and put a bow on it at the end. But it starts with automated campaigns. Now, when we talk about marketing, I also need you to realize, and you'll see this at the end, I need you to realize, well, who are we marketing to, right? This is not just about prospects. So as you see some of these things, I want you to understand. Number 1, can we have automated campaigns, drip type campaigns? A lot of us have CRM systems that do this, either do this on our behalf, do it for us, or we can create them. I would just encourage everybody to go back. If you don't have a CRM that does this, just go into ChatGPT and create your own drip sequences, right? And when you do that, what are you doing them for? Well, there's lead and prospect drip messages for kids. There's for adults, right? So what is that we want to, drip on them, which I'll talk about in a second. But there's also, how do I drip on somebody who might be a trial? How do I drip on somebody who now became a student? How do I drip on somebody who became a former student, right? All different types of automated campaigns. What can we do with seasonal and holiday marketing? Are you doing flash sales, right? Whether that's through an email campaign or text message campaign. What are you doing for value add, right? So there's a value add series. So can you do something where you're providing parent hacks or tips or tricks, right? Or maybe for adults, it's fitness and dieting, those types of things. Again, these are things that you probably have heard before, but maybe it's a good reminder for us just to take action. We talked about flash sales, event campaign support, right? So do you have an event at your school that you're doing? What can we do there? Reactivation, re-engagement for former students, referrals, reviews, social proof, and then operational utility messages, things, that serve your clients and customers, right? These are schools closed or classes, no classes, or we have our Mother's Day. Like yesterday was awesome, right? I did I think a 4-step campaign for our Mother's Day workout for yesterday and today. We warmed them up to it, then everything dropped. And yesterday when classes started, we literally had a lobby filled with moms that we normally don't have. And they all were in like their leggings and t-shirts ready to participate in the class with their kid, which I think was amazing because remember, that's a great retention activity, right? And then we had the long stem roses, like I talked about the other day. We had those, and we had gave those out to all the moms that participated. But then we also offered every mom that was there 30 days free of martial arts and a free uniform if they want to go ahead and continue. And I think yesterday already we had a mom that said that she wants to do it, right? And then at the end of class, all the kids, all the moms, we took a group picture, and then we also did videos of class with the kids work with their moms. Now we have more of this content that we can do. So emails, text messages, those things are important, okay? Next, level 3. Level 3 is print. Again, these pictures on here are great. These are so old school. But print, flyers, postcards, yard signs, buddy passes, every door direct mail. When you see this, you might be overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh. It's not designed to overwhelm you. It's designed to maybe spark some ideas. What can we do? And when you go and do whatever marketing you're looking to do, how can we incorporate this into our marketing plan, right? So you can go through here, direct mail, VIP passes, feather flags, banners, direct response mail. Again, there's a plethora more of those, okay? Level 4. Level 4 is actually picking up the phone and making phone calls, which I know very few of us like to do. But this is an opportunity to re-engage cold leads and then also confirm the warmer ones, right? And so I'm not sure, Metz, did you cover the 4 steps of selling?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay, good. So I just want to make, because then I'm not going to go through this, but you have the 4 steps of selling right here, right? So this is a reminder on, well, what are we calling about? And whether this is existing students, whether it's prospects, whether it's former students, we follow this formatting of the 4 steps of selling and give ourselves a good reason to call with things like community events and so on and so forth. And then level 5. Level 5 is in person, right? This is the most powerful level or layer that we have because it transfers the trust in the energy. You know, you've heard the expression, enthusiasm is contagious and so is the lack of. If we can get somebody in front of us and we can work with them and we can do that lesson with them, right? We're going to have a great opportunity for them to actually enroll into our program. And I believe I said this the other day as well. Like, if you could get 50, pick the number, 10 students, 50 students, 500 students, pushed into your martial arts school right now, and all you had to do was outfit them with a uniform or a t-shirt and teach them for 30 days for free, and you had a hard cost of $20 on each of those people, the question is, would you do it? I hope the answer to everyone would say would be yes, because we believe that our program is that powerful. And when somebody is there and they feel the energy, they see the energy, they know we can work on the know, like, and trust factor. All of those things make a big difference in that person actually becoming a student. So again, here's a very small list. When is the last time that you've gone business to business just to introduce yourself? So we've talked about, and we'll talk about again, the summer special. What are we going to do for that? Are we just going to put it on social media, right? What else can we do? Can we go business to business and introduce ourselves? And this was one for me that was, I had to figure out, it wasn't hard, but I had to figure out how to put this in the right words. Because if I was at a business, and this is mindset, this is all mindset training, and I was a mile away, I was like, well, what am I going to say? Because my shtick was, hey, listen, just want to stop in and introduce myself. My name's Shane Tossel. I just want you to know we're neighbors. We have the martial arts school right down the road, right? I don't care if I'm in the strip center next door or a mile and a half down the road, we're their neighbor. And I'm just coming in to introduce myself and listen, we have whatever you want to do, right? We have a free community event we've got going on. We've got our summer special going on. And I just want to come in, number one, first and foremost, is introduce myself. Number 2 is just to let you know this is what we're doing. And I'm going to leave 10 of these with you. If you want to give them to your best clients, or if it's a family member or staff or employee, no problem. By the way, we have several hundred families that come through our martial arts school every week. Do you have anything, coupons or things you want me to give to them? And now I create this relationship with them and go business to business so they understand who we are, right? I think a lot of us do tables at booth events or fairs or festivals, carnivals, whatever it may be. And Mr. Metzger touched on this the other day, and the importance of how to do that the right way as opposed to the wrong way. PE teacher for the day, that's in person. The self-defense course that he talked about for adults, that's in person. School talks, the instructor announcements. Here's what I'll tell you. The lobby is probably one of the most missed areas for in-person communication, right? In-person marketing. You have a summer special that I think most of you, if you haven't been convinced, hopefully you have, right, that you're going to take advantage of and do the summer special. But the last place sometimes we think about is marketing that to our lobby of our existing people. And that would just be, hey, parents, listen, you know, a lot of you have been talking about starting martial arts. You have another child that you're thinking about starting martial arts. Listen, we have an unbelievable summer special that we're doing. We're going to be putting it out into the public here shortly. But before we do that, I just need to know, you guys to know, if it's something you want to do, here's what it normally is. Here's what it is for you, right? Because you guys already have, you know, students in the program. I'm going to give them some sort of discount, but make sure that you act on it because our summer special will fill, and I want to make sure you guys are able to get a spot first, right? So using your lobby as another mechanism and another way for us to communicate. And on that subject, oftentimes I see martial arts schools do this. Whether the announcements are at the beginning of class or the end of class, they will pull the group of students, in this case kids, right? They'll pull the group of students as far away from the parents as they can. Now there's a time and place to do that at our mass intro. But during normal classes, we are selling the idea of life skills and benefits and all those things, we don't want to be far away. We want to huddle our kids up and we want to talk through the kids and to the parents. Again, utilizing that lobby. And when I talk about marketing, this isn't just about selling a summer special to the parents in the lobby. This isn't about selling a summer camp to the parents in the lobby or a parent night out to the parents in the lobby. It's just about selling the benefits of what you do on a daily basis, your lesson of the month or character or your word of the month or whatever you do, and communicating that through the kids and to the actual parents, okay? Number next, your target audience. So sometimes we get caught up in the 5 levels of marketing. We think this is only for generating new students. And of course, we want to be able to do that, right? But I think we forget about some of the people that we can market to. So our target audience, who's the who? Number 1, prospects, of course, leads, followers, neighbors. What are we trying to do? We want to build awareness. We want to create trust. We want to get them in as a trial or a student. And then, of course, we have our existing students. Well, how can I market to my existing students? And what is my goal? Well, I want to be able to market to them, right? So I want to retain them. That's a level of marketing. And what can we do? And there's lots of different things that we can do here, but I just want you to think outside the box. If you have a seminar coming up, as an example, are you just making announcements in class and doing in person? Or are you doing all 5 levels of marketing to try and maximize the results to fill that tournament? Some of us have a very difficult time filling, whether it's a summer camp, a seminar, maybe it's an in-school tournament, and we struggle maybe sometimes filling those things. But if you would use the 5 levels of marketing, and now you have 5 different lines in the water, and then, by the way, what I said earlier is go deep in each of those levels, 2 or 3 things deep. Now you have this mega force that's going out, and you call this is what Chris calls it being omnipresent. Whether that's being omnipresent for an event at your school or being omnipresent for someone to make the decision to come to your martial arts school and enroll, that's a big deal, right? Community partners. So who are your community partners, right? What is that? The local school system? Is it for you that teach adults in self-defense, right? Is it maybe the local real estate group that you're doing self-defense seminars for? Is it Chamber of Commerce? Who is it that we're trying to market to as far as community partners? And here's a big one: reactivation of former students. The reactivation of former students. They were a student once before, and just with a little bit of time, effort, work, and energy, we can get them to come back and become a student again, right? Life happens, things happen, things get in the way. But this is a great opportunity for you to reactivate them. And there's so many different ways to do this. And really, I could do probably an hour seminar just on each of the levels and go deep with all the activities for each level to give you different ideas. But this is a great resource and option. And again, this is why it's so great, to have like the My Edge site, right? Where you can jump on and go click on recruitment, click on kids. Oh, here's all the assets. They're already done. Oh, I don't like that picture. Let me click on it, download it, put it in the Canva, change the picture out, hit print, and you're off to the races. Success loves speed. I said that earlier on today. And what we really try to do is make your success happen by creating speed and creating hacks for you to get things done faster. I mean, I'm going to date myself here. I'm 51 years old. But I remember the days of Microsoft Publisher and having an empty screen and being like, okay, I'm going to do a seminar. Let me see. What do I want to title it? And I would literally sit and have to think about it. And by the way, before that, right, it was when you had the pre-done ad slicks and you had to cut out your offer and then like tape it on and then photocopy it like that, right? That was the ad slick back in the day, 30 years ago. But now things are just done so much faster. And this is really what we try and do. So these are different ways for us, and hopefully this resonates with everybody, for you guys to increase whatever you're marketing for, whether that's for new students, whether that's reactivating old students, or potentially to your existing student base for a particular event or whatever it may be. So here's the challenge I have for everybody. You got to build your own power stack, right? We teach something called integrated sales, and there's 5 different profit centers, and then how we integrate those profit centers. and we try and hit as many of the profit centers as we can when we're doing particular events. Marketing is no different. We want to make sure that not only are we marketing whatever it is that we're doing, but how are we integrating that marketing with the 3 or 4 other layers or levels? We're not always going to use all 4 or all 5 levels, excuse me. Like, you're not going to send out a direct mail piece or a postcard every single time that you do something. I'll give you an example. We do parent night outs. Our parent night outs, we have 40 spots available. They fill up within about 2 days of us launching the checkout page. They're full, right? They fill up every time. We don't have to do 4 other levels of marketing. But if we were struggling with getting it filled, we would start to do other layers or other levels of marketing to get more response and get people to sign up. So here's your challenge. Pick an event. Is it going to be the summer special? Is it going to be an inter-school tournament that you have coming up? Doesn't matter what it is, right? What are you doing? What is that next what's the promotion, right? What is your event? What are you doing? And then sit down, and if you are your own team, right? This is the beauty. Again, I'm going to refer back to ChatGPT, because you can sit down and say, hey, help me brainstorm ideas for ... I'm a single person martial art owner operator. You can act as my staff, right, that I don't have, and help me brainstorm ideas on different ways that we can market our upcoming and just see what it comes back with. And I think you're going to be actually very surprised at what it can come back with and help you. What it does not do a great job of is giving you the assets and the things that you need, because there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed with that. And this is really where we come in, and we have that stuff done for you, and we make it simple for you to multiply your efforts and multiply your results, which is step number 3. Multiply your results. Watch your impact grow exponentially. How do you do that? By stacking the different levels, the different layers. And here's what I'll tell you. You don't need better marketing necessarily. What you need is you just need to incorporate all 5 levels and stack those 5 levels. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to say this, but I really think that sometimes we have this idea, or we want to do something and we do one thing and we don't get the results that we want to. And then we're like, that didn't work. I got to go do something else. Well, it didn't work, or you didn't work, right? You didn't work it. So if we would just get more focused on what are other ways that we can get this out to everybody, it's going to help you a ton more. So with that being said, I'm going to stop the screen share. I think I'm pretty close to time, Chris.
That was like to the minute. Let's give him another round of applause, guys. I mean, that was good.
Well, thank you. So again, is there any questions on any of that? But I just want to button this up. It's a concept to understand how to maximize the results in anything that you're doing. Don't get caught up in all of the details as far as the different types of things. Those were just ticklers to get you to think, but this is how you multiply your results. Go ahead, Chris.
So there were 2 questions. First, what is the best practice for organic posting frequency? Daily, 3 per week, other option?
That's a great question, and I'm not a social media expert. So Chris, I will defer that question to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the posting frequency that you're going to stick to and commit to. You know, I mean, if I had to give you a number to aim for, I would say 3 times a week in terms of like an actual post. That might be a video or a reel or a screenshot of a Google review or introduction to your staff, right? And then you also have stories, right? So that's a whole other different kind of beast. But I would just aim for 3 times a week and getting really consistent with that. And then eventually, if you can get up to every day, then it's not going to hurt you. Now, the one thing to remember, only about 10% of your followers are actually going to see your organic content unless you boost it and put money behind it. You have a better opportunity to get your content seen with Reels, all right? This is how Facebook and Instagram are combating TikTok. As you scroll Facebook now, literally every 2 scrolls, you're going to see suggested Reels. So I would lean heavier into the video because most schools don't do it because it requires more time and energy and effort. But you're going to get kind of the most bang for your buck if you do lean into that. But short answer, I would aim for 3 times a week and then start building from there.
And by the way, Chris is giving you the consulting answer right now because she knows most of you aren't going to do anything. I'm just being honest, right? How do I know that? Because I consult and we weren't doing it. We were doing the minimal that we could, which was already done for us, right? Which is great. But can I say this, Chris? I mean, I don't know if this is fair. Like, if you posted 3 times a day, that's going to be better than posting 3 times a week, by the way. The problem is most of you are going to say that's just too much and I'm not going to do it at all. And you're going to be overwhelmed. So she said it the best, which is what schedule works best for you? Because even if it was once a week, based off of what I've seen on Facebook pages and Instagram pages, and people see you, and now your paid marketing works, and they go to your Facebook page and are like, oh, look at Thanksgiving of 2023. Wow, that was the last post they made, right? It's not, that doesn't give them a good, warm, fuzzy feeling, right? So if there was consistency weekly, that would make sense, right? So love it. What else?
Yeah. And then Mr. Johnson said, Mr. Tassel said more organic content on our page. Was that school website, a blog, or Facebook pages?
Yeah, yes. The answer is yes. I mean, yes, if you have the ability to now look, here's the thing. This is where should you blog? Yeah, you should blog. Is it the best use of your time? No. It's like some of you might see this and go, okay, he said I got to do print. I'm gonna print off 1,000 flyers and we're gonna go flyer the parking lot. And you're gonna burn out an instructor doing it, right? Or they might get put in the back of a cop car, like what happened to me, right? Because they're not supposed to be flyering windshields, and I got to go. I'll take them all. You have to understand what is the best use of your time and your effort to maximize your reward. Are some of these things important? Yeah. But are there more important things to do? 100%. And this is why we as coaches, right, or consultants, we will look at your numbers because the numbers don't lie. And we will find out what is the number one thing that we can do right now to make the biggest splash in your business. Because for a lot of us, we're just too busy in the grind to be able to see what that is. I've had it happen, I mean, hundreds of times where, like, sir, I need your help. We're losing too many students. Our retention's horrible. And the first, I will say 2-3 years as a consultant, I would say, well, tell me what's going on and tell me this. And then I was trying to figure it out. And then I got smarter and I started asking, well, give me what, we go through the attrition. We can figure out and calculate attrition. There's a formula to do that. I said, what's our attrition rate for the last quarter? What is it for last year? Oh, it's 2.8%. Okay, we don't have an attrition. We don't have a retention problem. It's a snapshot in time and you're having a knee-jerk reaction to what's going on, but we're not going to bring that up anymore. We got to focus on this. This is where our challenge is. And we all will do this, by the way. We all do this, right? And this is why it's important to keep numbers, but it's also important to have a coach. And Metzger probably has already said this because there's really 3 reasons. The coach is going to educate you. They're going to motivate you, right? And sometimes they need to play coach. And those are the different roles, right? Sometimes you just need the motivation. Hey, we got this. Let's move forward. Sometimes you don't have the education. It's not done right. And sometimes you have the education and you're lacking the motivation and you need a kick in the ass. And that's really what the coaching program does. And I think when you're on top and you're the owner, right? For a lot of us, we're only being held responsible for ourselves. There's nobody else to be accountable to. And that's why I say start with the numbers, be accountable to the numbers. But if you don't know what you don't know, it's very hard to see the trees through the forest. And this is where, it's not because I'm so smart, by the way, or any of us as consultants. It's because we've been there. We've made all the mistakes. We've done all the things and we've seen what happens when we take small incremental steps and how amazing and wide open it can make it blow the doors open for you, right? Not just on revenue, but in everything that you do.
All right, last question because we are over. Does direct mailing work these days?
It's a great question. You have to find that out for yourself. That's the question. Like, does social media work today? I mean, In some areas, social media can be saturated. In some areas, direct mail can work, but is it a direct mail piece with a postcard that is a generic postcard, or is it a direct response mail that speaks to the parent and that uses the kid's name in it, and that you have to test, right? And when you test small things to see if it works first, then you can blow it up. Because the last thing I would want you to do is a direct mail campaign where you pay and pray, which is to say, here's my $5,000 for my 5,000 or 6,000 pieces that go out. And now you're like, I got the QR code set, I got this set, and you're like, oh my God, 4 people scanned it. You're not getting your $5,000 back, right? That's why every door direct mail, by the way, can be a great way to do it, because it's a small sampling of carrier routes. And if it works in 100 or 200 or 300 homes first, then we can say, okay, now I'm going to go and do my direct mail piece because I know it works. Great question.
All right, guys. Biggest takeaway, drop it in the chat. Let's hear it. Biggest takeaway, drop it in the chat. And then Mr.
Please
Metzger,
put something in the box, otherwise I'm going to get fired. Please.
yeah,
Please.
just come up with something, guys. You know, anything at all. Let us know. All right, biz to biz, stacking. Yes, that's those lines out in the ocean. It's the stack, build the stack. They paid attention, sir.
Very good. Nice, everybody.
All right. Mr. Metzger, you're up.
He's got a smirk.
Thanks for having me.
Go ahead.
Great to be here. Hey, Tass, you said something. I was going to bring this up. So if I can get everyone's attention on this, you know, I was going to say it because as Tassel Shane was going through all of this stuff, I always try to put myself, and I'm a school owner just like you, right? But I always try to put myself in the seat of somebody who may not have had, who's still grinding, who's still just trying to just scale, right? I remember what that was like and how overwhelming it can feel, right? And, you know, here we are. Yesterday, I told you about the Maya program and everything else. Today, we'll tell you, today's the last day, we'll tell you about the Maya program. But as he was talking, I started thinking, what do you think the Maya program is, right? And he said it, because I always have said it. We are educators, right? We are motivators, and we are coaches. Education is just one part of it. But as I hear all this stuff, if I was a client hearing this, and today we sign off and we're done, you're not going to hear from us again until we do another webinar, right? What is it worth to have somebody calling you in 2 days saying, okay, where are we starting? What are you going to implement first? Even if you know how to do it, just to hold you accountable. Because these guys have been in there in the seminars, and I've asked, why are you guys still here after 15 years, 18 years, 20 years? And they raise their hand and they say the accountability. It's like, what more can we teach you after 15 years? Well, we're always evolving, right? Because we're always testing, but it becomes very small as far as new, but it's the accountability. So I think there's a huge value in what he said there. I mean, there is a huge value. The next thing I want to say is, when I spoke to you guys on the first day, remember how I told you got to know what somebody said, does direct mail work? And Tassel said, you have to have something that speaks to your audience. We remember on the first day, I said, what are you marketing? Does your ad look like just martial arts, right? Because if I just see something quickly and it's martial arts, but I consciously am not really thinking about martial arts, I'm just going right by in the newspaper or on the direct mailer or on the Facebook feed, or like, I'm not interested in that. I also told you that with Maya, you get access to Maya Edge, which we plan 3 months in advance. I'm going to give you a sneak peek on this. We're 3 months ahead. We already are working on our back to school marketing. Well, here's an example. This is put on my desk. I got 2 here that I got to proof, go over, adjust, make corrections to. And this is like draft number 3. But this is what our back to school ad is coming out to start looking like. Now, this school year, say goodbye to screen time. Does that look like martial arts, or does that look like something most parents can relate to? Now, when they stop and say goodbye to screen, oh my God, my kid's always on that. As they read on, what's the answer? Well, where is it? Yeah, martial arts is the answer, right? We're going to talk about the problem and the issue or the pain point. and then we'll give the answer. I would never put the martial arts up here and then put like, does your child have an issue with screen time? Because they're going to breeze by. They won't even get to that part of the message, right? So I just wanted to use that to show you whether you jump on with us or you make your own flyers, but this is what I'm talking about. What can people, what does your audience want, right? And then you're the solution. Yeah.
To that point, number one, I don't know, was that just created in the last couple of days?
It was today. It was on my desk this morning when I came.
So this is my, I don't know how long it would, maybe some of you are Adobe experts in here, but I don't know how long it takes some of you to create that, right? And it's regardless, the time that you would take, you don't need it. It's already done for you. But it's interesting. I was just at the school yesterday and I had a mom tell me, I'm seriously thinking about going to a screen-free household. So that's exactly what that ad is talking about. So we know that there are parents that are thinking about that. We know that that's happening.
But these are the tests we do. This is the other one we're playing with, is screen time taking over, right? Try martial arts, but I don't like that. My point is I'm not going to go through all the, this is all the work that we do for you, for our clients. This is what we do for you, so you could focus on what's most important. Now, let's talk about thriving in summer. So look, there was a time that for 15 plus years, maybe longer. I mean, I don't remember now, but for 15, maybe 20 years, we did an after-school pickup program with vans, and we did full-fledged summer camps. Drop your kids off at 7:30 in the morning, pick them up by 6 p.m. Why did we do that? The same reason why whoever's doing it on here is doing it. You're doing it because it generates a lot of revenue. It generates a lot of gross revenue, right? You could charge $199 a week. Some of you charge more. Some of you charge a little less. You know, you start looking at it and you're like, man, $200 a kid. If I get 20 kids, that's $4,000 a week. That's $16,000 a month I can bring in through the summer. Well, that's why we did all that. But I don't think any of you trained in martial arts as a student dreaming one day to someday open your own school and buy vans and watch kids and take them to parks and water places and, you know, go nuts. I don't think that was the dream. I think the dream was, man, someday I'd love to teach. Someday I'd maybe love to open my own school for some of you, whatever, right? So even though I was not in the schools anymore, I was like, I just don't want my team. I hate it. I hate the summer camps and after schools. I hate it because I think it takes us away from our core product and service. And also I felt that it suffered, our evening program suffered because either our guys were worn out, even if they came in at 2 o'clock and watched kids from 2 until 4 or 5, you know, and then started teaching classes. I didn't think also with a school full of kids, they can plan effectively their day and focus on the systems. So at the end of the day, I said, I want to get rid of all the after school. Now, with 9, 8, back then we had 10 locations. We sold one to one of our instructors, a husband and wife program direct. They were students, and I give that option to all my team members. Sold 2 of our schools to team members. We're at 9, but with 10 schools, that's a lot of revenue you're cutting out. A lot of revenue. By the way, listen up. My people got bonused on gross revenue. Why is that important? Because they did not get bonused on net revenue. They got bonused on gross revenue, which means if the summer camp brings in $16,000 a month, but it cost me $14,000 to run it, they were still getting bonused on $16,000, even though the company was only making 2. I'm using that as an example. Why is that relevant to this conversation? Because some of my team members were scared to get rid of summer camp. They were afraid to get rid of that gross revenue. And I told them they got to trust me that we can make more revenue without it than with it. And how did I know that? Because at the time I had been consulting for almost 10 years and I had a lot of clients that did not have summer camp. And I had a lot of clients that started at this level and they were grossing and netting at this level. And some of those clients were making more now than any one of my schools. They were grossing more than any one of my schools. And I said to my team at the time, I'd have a once a week meeting. I'd say, guys, it's ridiculous that I've had school owners join our consulting, our My Elite program, grossing $3,000 a month, working a full-time job. And now they're grossing 60, 70,000 a month. And we're grossing 40 or 50. I said, what is the deal? I said, I'm their consultant. I help them do it. You guys are right here, and we can't do it in any one school. What is the issue? And again, this is about 10, 12 years ago that we got rid of this. Long story short, I said, you got to trust me, and here's how we're going to make up the revenue. And this is what I'm going to go over with you right now. How can you generate revenue in the summer without the stress and make more net without the expense? And I'm going to bullet point very quickly. I'm going to go through these for you. Number one, and I said some of these. Number one, let's start with easy. So I said, we got to make up this revenue. So first thing I want to do, guys, is I asked my team, and I'll ask you, do you think you have 5 students, 5, that would be interested in a private lesson summer package, right? For what did we charge for that, Perry? $4.99? Do you know?
For the six.
I think we charged, let's call it $4.99, right? For a summer private lesson, that gives you 8 private lessons, right? 8 private lessons.
I think it was 480, but that, yeah.
480? Okay. So $480, that gives you 8 private lessons. That's $60 per lesson, right? It breaks down to $60 per 1 hour private. I said, how many of you have 5 students in the school that you think would be interested in a private lesson summer package? Which, by the way, whatever you do has to be less than what you charge typically for one private lesson. If you buy the 8-week summer private lesson package, you're getting 8 and it's coming out less per whatever you charge for one. But then I said to my team, I said, but look, we can't just say that because there's no emotion connected to that. So what did we do? We packaged these summer private lessons into themes. And we said to our parents and students, guys, we're only offering, it's first come, first serve. We only have 5, and I'll tell you why 5 in a minute. We only have 5 private lessons for the summer private lesson package. Whoever takes it gets it, and then we're done. We don't have any more room. But here's the best part, parents and students. You can choose. You could do a curriculum private lesson package. You could do a sparring private lesson package. You could do a weapons private lesson package, or you could purchase the combo private lesson package, which gives you a little bit of curriculum, a little bit of sparring drills, and a little bit of weapons training. Now, if you're a BJJ school, you can go to, we have sweeps from the guard and escapes, sweeps and escapes. We have submissions. We have takedowns, closing the distance and takedowns, or we have a combo package. I mean, you use your imagination, but let the customer say, man, this would be great. You really need help with curriculum. Hey, you love weapons. Why don't you do a whole summer private lesson? Okay. So we themed the packages. Now the question is do you think you have 5 people that would pay, in this case, 400, let's just say $500 so it's easy, 500? Do we have 5 students that would pay $500 for an 8-pack summer private lesson series? Yes, we do. Well, what's 8 times 500? That's $4,000, right? For doing what? What I would like to do in a perfect world is have my instructor teach 1 extra hour on Monday, 1 extra hour on Tuesday, 1 extra hour on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So they have a private lesson booked one day a week to teach 1 extra hour. Over 8 weeks, that's 2 months. Is that worth $2,000 in net a month to you? Now, if you're a school that pays, if I pay you $10 an hour to be here from 4 to 9, I don't pay you extra to teach a private lesson if I'm already paying you hourly on the clock. I want to let you know that. That doesn't make any sense if you do that. Now, if I have an instructor that comes in at 6 a.m. because a customer wants to private at 6 a.m., you will get paid extra part of that private lesson because that's outside of your work hours. But what would you do if your 5 o'clock class started and there was something going on in your town or over the holidays and one kid showed up for that 5 o'clock class? Do you all of a sudden pay your instructor extra because one kid showed up? No. So I'm not paying you extra to teach a private lesson when you're on the clock. Same thing with a salaried employee. Most of my people are salaried, right? Salaried, 40-hour work week. You can either go out in the heat and put flyers out, you can make phone calls, you could write postcards, or you can teach a private lesson. But either way, that's what you're getting paid for. So my point is that's net. So that's one. So let's just say if you have 5 people, that's $5,000. Mr. Hurtado, what do I pay for the extra class? I usually do not pay a percentage of the private. I'll usually pay them like an extra $5 for the hour. And with my salaried people, let me give you a tip. For me, depending, most people don't have this, but for my salaried people, I won't let them come in at 6 a.m. Private lesson you could do for an hour, Mr. Convento, or you can cut it in half to 30-minute privates. If somebody wants an hour, they can double them. What you're doing here is you're getting caught up in whatever you want to do. It's the concept of offer this package, present it the right way, and generate the revenue that you want and reverse engineer it. So if you want to do 30 privates, offer a 16-pack private lesson package. Maybe it's 2 a week or back-to-back, 1 day a week for 1 hour, okay? All right, now, by the way, I was saying, I don't like my salaried people coming in at 7 a.m., even if they get to go home, because I think that affects them at night. I think that will affect them later, and I don't want that. So I'm not going to step over dollars to pick up pennies. I'm not going to do it, okay? Next, how else can we generate revenue in the school? Well, then I thought, you know what? What if we came up with 8 seminars, quote, seminars, we present it as seminars. What if we came up with like 8 seminar type 1-hour seminars over the summer? But here's what I want to charge for that. $99 for the whole summer. $99 for the whole summer. And so when would we want to teach this seminar? Well, just 1 day a week. By the way, I used to do these Friday. So if your normal classes start at 5, our seminar would be from 4 to 5. So I just added 1 class on Fridays. But I found from doing this differently in my schools that for whatever reason, don't ask me why, I don't know why, I just look at data, Wednesday seemed to be the best. Wednesday got the best results, okay? So if your classes start at 4, well, on Wednesdays, we started at 3. And I would theme them. You know, this week is going to be our weapons seminar. This week's going to be our sparring seminar. This week's going to be I'm sorry, I wouldn't do weapons. I'd do a nunchuck seminar, a bow staff seminar, a comma seminar, a sparring seminar, whatever you want to do. And by the way, kids, for the summer, just $99. Well, can you get, by the way, I'm lowballing this, but I'm making it more attainable or believable for you. Can you get 10 students in your school? Now, by the way, I would like you to get like 20, 25, fill it up. But can you get 10 people to pay $99? Well, there's another $1,000 for teaching 1 extra hour per week. Now, for some of you that try this, and if you work with us and say, yeah, I just didn't get anybody, what we will do is go over how did you present it? How did you make the announcements? Did you showcase your themes? Did you have passes for the kids? Did you have your poster up? Did you make phone calls on progress checks and say, hey, by the way, did Johnny sign up or Sarah sign up for the mini, we call it the mini summer seminar series. That's what we call that. Now, by the way, we have all that done for you. It's editable. The themes are editable, but we have all the flyers and everything on the Edge site. But so now that's an extra $500 a month, $1,000 divided by 8 weeks, roughly $500. So now I'm at $1,500 extra. Okay. Next, we are doing, and you don't have to do this, but we are doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Perry, every other week? Is it every other week?
They have 4.
We have, okay.
4, it's not necessarily.
Okay, but we're doing 4 martial art HIT, high intensity training academy seminars. 4. We do it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 4 hours. 4 hours Tuesday, 4 hours Wednesday, 4 hours Thursday. Okay. The themes for the week, do you know the themes?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't even know the thing. What is it?
Fight Club 1.
We have
Fight Club 2.
Fight Club 1, Fight Club 2,
Stunt.
and choreography or something?
Yeah, it's called stunt. Something.
We have a stunt something camp, right? But again, these are concepts, so it doesn't matter, guys. But we have a stunt and choreography camp, 12 hours of training, 3 days, 4 hours.
I believe XTS, which is Extreme Team Showcase.
And then we have an XTS Extreme Team Showcase where they're going to learn to get in groups and teams, and they're going to put together a demonstration that they can showcase that. And they'll compete against each other. So we have these camps. We charge $499 for this. $399 per student per camp. They get 12 hours of training, and that's $399. Now, listen to what I'm going to tell you now to make this more presentable and exciting. You got to bring in, if you have buddies in your area, or if you have assistant instructors, try to have somebody, like if you're the chief instructor, you'll start the first hour. Then let even one of your advanced students that's just great in forms and weapons and sweeps and takedowns and submissions and whatever, you can still assist, but you're going to showcase Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so's leading hour 2, Mr. or Miss So-and-so's leading hour 3, and then you're coming back to close it out. It just looks more exciting than me paying you $399 to get the same instructor I get every single week, every time I come to class, meaning just the chief instructor. But when you say so-and-so's leading this part of it, and this part of it, and this part of it, it just presents better. But that's $400. That's $400. What do we cap it at? We're capping each camp at 40?
So, yeah.
We're capping the camps at 40. You can do the math. 40 times 400, $16,000. And we're doing 4 of those over the summer. Some of you can't do that, right? Because you don't have 9 locations. The problem is if they want to do this camp, it's at our World Training Center. So it's not at their school for us. They got to travel and go to our World Training Center for that camp. You guys would do it right in your school when you have nothing else going on. Okay. What time are we doing those camps?
We're doing it mid-afternoon, so noon to 4.
Noon to 4. I would say noon to 4 or 10 to 2 is when you do it. And the reason the noon to 4 is because if you have full-time people, I don't want them coming in real early in the morning. Okay. I don't want to kill the evening program. Next. So there you go. There's that, right? I brought this up on day 1, but now you're going to see how it translates to revenue. Every student that you talk to, again, now, if you don't have this, you can't do it, right? But if you have an upgrade in your school and people that did an upgrade, if I can get them to pay me an extra $149 or $199 just to take part in the Black Belt Club or the Masters Club or whatever it is, and they're still paying their monthly fee, remember, they're just paying this without a big commitment. Let me explain why. Our upgrade programs is a 3-year commitment. It's 36 months. So there are a lot of, put it this way, there's a lot of people who did not upgrade. And the only big objection with an upgrade is the time commitment. It's not price, because the price breaks down to just an extra $25 more a month. So it's not price, it's usually time. So we always ask the parents' permission if we can nominate their child before we talk to the child. We don't get the kids excited to then bug their parents and put the parents on the spot. So keep in mind that if we talk to someone about upgrading, like if we did the upgrade conference, the parent already gave us permission to nominate their child. But then when they got the details, for whatever reason, they didn't pull the trigger. Well, since January until May or June, I got a whole list of people. Are they willing to just pay an extra $149 or $199 in the summer just to try it for the summer? The answer is yes, because the data shows me the answer is yes, right? It's not a big commitment and it's something exciting, but I present it by, look, It'll give you a great opportunity to really see the values and benefits of the program and see if this is something your child would really enjoy. But here's the reality. How many people do you think finish this summer in a black belt club or master's club? By the way, we include the uniform. So we include the uniform because they are in the black belt club for a trial period or the master's club or whatever you call it, right? So they get the red and blue uniform or the black or white uniform or the red and black uniform, right? They're wearing that over the summer. Do you want to ask me how many of those people at the end of summer now hang that uniform back up in their closet because they have to put on their traditional white uniform and go back to the basic class? Negligible. I mean, I can't think of anybody. They all end up upgrading. Why? Because let me just give you the example. If they paid $149, what do I do in the third week? I do a progress check. And if they want to enroll, I'll apply that $149 right to their program. And they already have the uniform. Okay. So let's say you got 10 of those people. That's another at $149. That's $1,500. Do you see how this starts to stack up and start generating net revenue? I would challenge all of you. Let me put it in the chat box. How many of you run a full-fledged summer camp? Anybody? Yes. Yeah, 2 weeks. No, 3 full weeks. Yes. Go ahead. Let me see, guys. We do 10 weeks. Okay. 12 weeks. No. 1 week in June, July. 2 weeks. Used to. No, only 3 weeks. 4 hours, 4 days. Not anymore. All right. Whether you do or don't, let me just tell you the reality. There's no debating this, because the last thing that I'm going to tell you is the biggest thing you're going to be able to do to generate more revenue than you've ever generated with ever. And for my elite people on here, you chime in and tell me if I'm exaggerating when I get there. So I start adding up all these little things. So my guys are working just a couple hours a week, right? But I'm like, we still got to generate more revenue. Do you want to hear something staggering? The lowest month, we had 10 schools. I'm going to let you on an insight. I have the numbers, right? We have 10 schools, or we had 10 schools. We have 9 schools now, but back in 2011, we had 10 schools. There was a July where we generated $180,000 for the month. Does anybody want to do the math on that? 180,000 divided by 10? Yeah. Well, let me just tell you guys, that's $18,000 for the month of July per school as an average. Okay. Do we have our stats here for last year? 24. So, by the way, that in case you're wondering, that's not good. $18,000 a month, right? Okay. To put it in perspective, it's fine. I think now with 8 schools, because we just opened up a school just last May, a new school last May, so I won't count that. But with 8 schools in July, we're doing well almost 500,000, as opposed to 180,000 with 10. Well, yeah, I mean 400 and
in July we did 538.
We $538,000 we did in July. What was our worst month ever is our second best month of the year. So 538,000 with 8 locations, as opposed to 180,000 with 10. Just now, those are extreme examples. Well, the 538 is not an extreme example. 180 was during the crash, and it was just bad. So how do we generate money now in the summer? So here's what you got to think about in your business. Don't reset every month, because then your mind is resetting 12 times a year. So if you guys have a record month, yay, celebrate, great job. Oh crap, it's the first, start over. We got to do it again now. You have another record month. Awesome, we got to do it again now. Or you have a bad month. Okay, we get to start over. Let's have a better, the reset wears on you over and over and over. So we don't think in months, we think in quarters. So now we got to reset 4 times a year instead of 12. Okay, 4. So what I had to do, what I've done for Maya, and what I have to do is I need 3 things for each quarter. What am I doing to recruit students in quarter 1, 2, 3, 4? What am I doing to retain them in quarter 1, 2, 3, 4? But most importantly, how can we generate big dollars, revenue, in quarter 1, in quarter 2, in quarter 3, and quarter 4? It's all done. We have that. Right now, I'm going to talk to you about March, April, May, June, 3rd quarter, which is July, August, September. July is dead of summer. Well, my elite clients, what do we do every July? Want to put it in the chat box? There it is, sir, Mr. Landis. You guys know this, right? Christmas in July, Christmas in July, right? I mean, and the rest are probably not chiming in because they're just going to say Christmas in July, right? So we've taken the worst financial month to the most lucrative financial month. And it's a Christmas in July sale. But some of you, well, there you go. Mr. Nebkin made an extra $22,000 last July. By the way, if you guys want to put, what did you make extra from a Christmas in July sale, you can put it in there while I'm chatting. I mean, it's just good credibility, right, to inspire people. 45,000, right? Some of you don't know how to do the sale though, right? And we did an extra 30,000 in July. There's a process that starts in January. However, for those of you who jump on Maya, this, like today, if you guys want to take the leap of faith, right? And you jump on, one of the first things that we're going to start talking to you about is not only preparing for summer because we need recruiting, but we're also going to make sure you understand Christmas in July. Now, here's a thing for all of you elite clients on here and for those of you who join. Chris, can I just tell, I won't show them yet, but can I tell them since it's in context? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You
Chris
have permission.
Thank you, Chris. Chris is my boss. So the elite clients, you don't even get this, but this is a giveaway. And for those of you who are on this, anyone that joins the Maya Consulting, if you don't join, we have a giveaway for you. If you don't join, we still have a giveaway. But for those of you who do join the Maya program and all the Maya elite clients that are on here, you are going to get the entire breakdown, SOP, step-by-step of how to have the most successful Christmas in July with videos, with 2 of my program directors walking you through their sale, explaining it to you, 2 of my managers, all the, I mean, what is it? The SOPs, the flyers, the everything. I mean,
supplemental videos.
Supplemental videos, guys. It's so powerful that Brian, he sent me a message, Brian, yesterday saying, is this really what we're giving away tomorrow? And I'm like, we can't give that away. And then Chris reminded me, no, we had discussed we're giving that away for anyone who joins Maya. I said, great. And so the elite clients will get that too. Now, why don't elite clients get that? Because that's for our licensees. This is just one thing that we're going to share with all of you and elite clients from this thing because we feel it's that important. But our licensees, our affiliates, our CMA affiliates, they get this, not elite clients, but you're all going to get it if whoever wants to join. Now, when I tell you that I broke it down to where I showed you how you can make roughly an extra $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month, what's lowball? $3,000 a month in pure net from doing an extra just a couple hours a week of teaching martial arts, not, I don't want to say this in a derogatory way, but not babysitting, right? Not taking people to parks and giving them snacks and doing all the stuff that I did, right? I did it too. But this Christmas in July sale can generate you an extra $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $45,000, right? We have schools that generate 6 figures from Christmas in July. So when you implement all of these things in the summer, keep in mind for you as an owner, this is what we teach people in Maya. And if you're in our family, we don't just take care of you as the owner. we will also make sure we take care of your staff or your people. Don't get an ego because you have a title of an owner. My older brother said this to me once, and he was right, and it pissed me off. And we only get offended when things are true, right? I mean, really. He said, this is when I was like 19. He goes, "You're not a businessman. You're a karate school owner." And he was right. I was not a businessman. I was a karate school owner. It just was a title. And today, I'd like to think I'm a businessman, right? Because that stuck with me, and I forced education and I invested in myself. But I also know that I'm just a piece of the puzzle to scale this business. And I can't do it without my people. But I'd like to think they can't do it without me. We're a team. So when I talk about things for the summer, it's about financial gain and work-life balance. I want you and your people to love coming to work. And I don't know, there are exceptions in this world, but I don't understand how people love saying, "Man, it's Sunday night. I can't wait. I'm going to bed at 8 because I got to get up at 6:30 in the morning to open the school at 7 to watch kids for 12 hours. I don't know who gets excited about that. I know there's some of you that do, but you got to understand you're the minority. But what I do get excited about is teaching martial arts, doing martial arts, right? We love to teach. And by the way, I'm teaching now. I love teaching, whether I'm teaching you how to throw a kick, throw an arm bar on somebody, or teach you how to run your business. We're educators, and I want to stick to what we know. And I want my people to be able to do that too, right? So if you want to thrive in the summer, you got summer private lesson packages. You got the mini seminars. You got little mini training camps or hit academies. And there's more, but I know that I can overwhelm you. For those of you that don't want to sign up with us to see what we can do for you, if I just keep giving you a list, you're going to look at the list. I always call it overwhelming on the paper. When you make a list, you'll look at the list and you'll get overwhelmed because the list looks so daunting, as opposed to having somebody say, "Look, get another piece of paper, cover everything on that list, or let's go through the list together. Let's pull 3 things out that we're really going to implement." I'm not going to implement all of this because it's just too much, but you could implement summer private lesson packages, mini seminars. You could do a Christmas in July because it's 1 week in July. We don't cancel classes. We don't alter the schedule, but you need to know how to do that. And you could implement a 4-hour training camp. Now, I said we do it for 3 days, 4 hours, 3 days. So some of you might be like, "I can't do 3 days for 4. I just can't." Can you do 1 day for 4 hours, theme it, and make it $199 instead of $399? Of course you can. Do you understand? You could do anything you want. All you need to do is figure out what is value to my customers that they would pay for. And then you create it, you do it. And what is the expense of you teaching a 4-hour camp one a week, every other week, once a week, every other week, like 4 hours, 2 hours a week extra when you break it down as an average? Well, it's not. Okay. Any questions on some of this stuff?
I've been getting some personal DMs, so just want to make sure if you're a Maya Elite client, we are going to get you the Christmas in July stuff. So don't fear. We will get that for you.
Chris, listen, I don't know how this digital stuff works, but because I'm talking about it, can we just show them, just so they understand? Can you just show them the page?
Yes, sir.
All right, look.
So this is what it'll look like. And you click on these links, and this is the first one. This is the SOP.
So look, guys, look at the SOP. Objective, the purpose. This is your sheet that you're going to need to do it. The touch points, book your appointments. But it goes on and on. I mean, look, this is what my team does. This is when you join with us, you got to understand how much would it cost you to hire somebody to do this work for you, right? I could tell you it'd be more than $1,000 a month, right? So here's the Christmas in July posters, because there's equipment sales involved. Everything is editable. What else do we have?
And then you got the training videos from your team as well.
Okay, these are two of my managers. Just by the way, can you just fast forward to the middle of this just so I can see it? Like just, okay, so they're talking about everything they do. These two ladies run two separate schools, two of my schools. Miss Dana Fisher here, she's a GM now, but she was a manager in one of our schools that did 109. She came to me, go back to the audience. Let me tell you something. Here's what you get with us. When I said sometimes we're a coach, we're educators, motivators, and coaches. I don't know if Dana would appreciate me telling this, but it's a positive, right? There was like a week and a half left in the month, and her school was at 78,000 for the month or something, 78,000. And I called her in my office and I said, hey, I said, have we done this? Have we done this? Have we done this? And she starts welling up. She starts getting emotional. And I said, hey, I said, because I said, I know we could be doing better, right? And then she starts getting emotional. And by the way, Dana's been with me for over 15 years, guys. They're like my kids. I said, why are you getting emotional? And I said, you got to be honest with me. You got to communicate and tell me. She goes, because I feel like sometimes it's just never good enough. Basically, sometimes she's telling me it's never good enough for me. Put in the chat box, what do you think my response was when she said that to me? Anybody want to guess what my response was? Come on, guys. Where's my keyboard warriors? I'm just curious. Nobody wants to say. Okay. Because I know you're capable of more. We can always do better. Yeah, you guys would be nice. I don't sugarcoat shit. Stop crying and do school talks. Yeah, that's right. Is this really the best you have? Let me tell you what you need to hear. Here's what I said. I said, Dana, because it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I said, now, and then I said, if we want to sit here and cry about it, come here, give me a hug. We'll sit in the corner and we'll cry. Or we can dry our tears and we can do something about it. But I said, you didn't make these calls, or you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. How can you sit here and tell me it's good enough? First, it was a big sale. It was a big thing, right? We had a week and a half left. She was like at 79,000 or something. A week and a half. She finished the month at 119,000. Right? That's credit to her. I also said to her, I said, I got David Rodriguez, who runs our Curry Ford location. David Rodriguez was doing 50,000 a month. I said, Dana, how many times do you think I call David Rodriguez into my office or tell him it's not good enough? She goes, I don't know. I go, never. Because I don't know how he's doing 50,000 in that location now. We had a drive-by shooting. We have ducks walking around the parking lot with duck shit all over. There's stray cats. There's graffiti. That was a building I built back in 2001. We sold it. It went downhill. It's behind a gas station. I said, he's doing better than enough, but your school isn't doing good enough. I said, that's just the reality of it. And she crushed it. Now that was then. Today, she's a GM. Her job is to oversee all the other managers. My point is you're going to get access to insight from her on this with the SOPs and everything. But sometimes you got to hear that from a mentor, because you guys are your masters. You're the master. You're the chief instructor. You're the toughest guy in the building. Your students and stuff aren't going to tell you, look, you can be better, but we will. And for those of you who don't like to hear that because it can bruise the ego, you can do one of two things. You can quit because you just don't want to hear it anymore, or you can do something about it. And that's what we do. We are coaches sometimes on the business side. That's what we do. We'll tell you when you're not doing good enough. And it's on us. You can't point fingers. It's on us. So my point is that's what you're going to get if you were to join the program. And by the way, please don't join the program because you're going to get the Christmas in July. Join the program because you believe Shane Tossel, Mike Metzger, Chris Rodriguez, Adam Parman, Kurt Klingenmeyer, Josh Arsaman, these guys can help you grow your business. As I said, that the first
Jason Patino,
sorry. I'm pulling a client on you. That's an inside joke for Jason. He's our BJJ. My point is maybe I'm lying, right? Maybe I'm lying, but it's either you don't believe in me or you don't believe you're going to do it. But doing all this would be hard for me. Getting 3 days of information, not knowing where to start, because I remember going to seminars and doing this stuff and not having someone calling me, just getting pumped up, rah, excited, going back to my empty school thinking, oh my God, where do I start? How do I keep this momentum going? So what questions do we have, Chris?
Yeah, there was really just one, and it was pretty long here. Concerned about a bias towards prepared projects or Taekwondo or karate based and not BJJ. Also, I have a lot to change right now, doing month to month, no upgrades. I had contracts, was tired of dealing with them. Also, we comp instructors, their membership, and the only full-time employees are my husband and I who coach. So can you help a school that needs basic infrastructure change and help closing sales?
That's what we do. And by the way, for those of you who say contracts don't work, or I did contracts, my people don't like it, if you learned anything during this last 3 days, understand it's about your presentation. You cannot argue and tell me, and I'm not saying they're saying this, but you can't tell me contracts don't work for you when we have over 250 schools or whatever it is in our program between CMA affiliates and consulting people, and it works for all of them. And then all of a sudden you're the one school miraculously where it just doesn't work. It's just not reality. Does anybody, let's see if you paid attention. How much did I charge when I first opened my school? Does anybody remember what I said? What did I charge? $4 a class, pay as you go. You want to talk about changing infrastructure. Is anybody else here charging less than $4 a class? Pay as you go? Anybody? Ben, what do you charge? He says yes. Are you at $3 a class, Ben? What do you charge? Unless that was a yes to something else. Did somebody say yes? Oh.
Are you a lead client? Yeah, it was an
Oh. Sorry. I thought somebody, okay, something else. I was like, wow. Listen, not only have we had people that were on month to month that were programmed to just believe that's the way. It's not about contracts. It's about programs. It's about presentation. We changed that. But guess what? We've also had clients where I've lowered their rate. So imagine if you had 250 students in your school or 200 students or whatever, and you're charging whatever you're charging, and we come in and because you need some help somewhere, you called us. And I say, look, the first thing we're doing is lower your rate. And you say to me, well, what about all the students that are paying the higher rate? Yeah, we're going to lower their rate. They're going to love you. How scary is that? Cass, you were one of those clients, weren't you?
I wasn't paying attention.
That's
no,
all right.
this season. Yes, I absolutely was. Because I had, like some of you maybe, right? I was going from seminar to seminar and hearing things and pulling bits and pulling pieces and doing it, then not doing it. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? This is an example, but testing fees. I charged them, I didn't. And regardless of what you believe on that, right? Like, it's because I kept hearing different things and I kept changing based off of what I was hearing. Like, oh, that sounds better than what I was doing. Actually, now that sounds. So yes, we've all done those and we're afraid to make the changes. The thing for me is, and this is what I said this in my presentation, I would highly recommend against. Don't wait until you're going through bankruptcy. Don't wait till you're going into foreclosure. Don't wait until your school is at rock bottom until you decide to make a decision to move up. Make the decision and make yourself make the decision to do something about it and move forward, because naturally we all avoid pain way more than we will go towards pleasure, but it will make your life so much easier.
So, yeah, I mean, we've done everything you can imagine. People with upgrade programs, people without them, people we have to change them. I mean, so look, we just know how to do this. I mean, it's just what we do. I mean, we've been doing this. I've been doing this 25 years with schools all over the world. I literally mean the world. Australia, Ireland, Europe. I mean, England, Germany, Iceland. I mean, all over the world, Canada, United States, you're not going to be different. You are not the person on here all of a sudden where I finally found someone where this just doesn't work. I want to help you guys. Right?
I see, Matt, I see Adrian also posting here, by the way, $100,000 per year since I joined. That's amazing. And then a little bit further down. And listen, this is just me being a wordsmith, right? Like, had to change almost everything though. Schedule, pricing, program offerings, and then worth it. Listen, you didn't have to change anything, right? You chose to make a change. And because of that change, right, you saw the $100,000. Because I think some people, you think, well, geez, we have to do it their way. Listen, it's your school. We're going to consult you and guide you on the right thing to do and where you're going to have the most success, because make no mistake about it, and you may have said this, our job is to maximize your success, not make you good, but make you great and maximize your success. We will always give you best practices, but ultimately the decision is up to you on what you want to do in your school.
And it sounds scary when you say that. It's like, that's over time. And when you understand the reasoning and the why behind what we do, by the way, it's not our way. I want to be clear, it's not our way. If I consulted you when I first started 25 years ago, wow, it's way, there was a time where if you upgraded, your price went down. I consulted that. There's a magazine article in MA Success. When people upgrade in our school, we lower their price because they're committing for a longer time. I mean, we've evolved based on what I've learned from all of these people that I've worked with one-on-one, because everybody had a little thing that worked and I would test it and try it. Here, I'm going to give you one more thing, everybody. You asked, does direct mail work? Well, I just did a direct mail piece because I said, maybe because everybody's so into social media, nobody's doing direct mail now. So let's do a direct mail piece and test it. It went out to 3,000 homes because it was what do you call it, Tass? It was a specific income level, children 5 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, it was not every door direct, right? It was direct. It was ages 5 to 10, household income of 80,000 or more. And I thought it was, 5,000 people or whatever it was.
So you ready for this? There's a QR code. It was a flyer with a QR code. We had 80 scans or 80 some scans, 0 opt-ins, 0. Yesterday, didn't I just say it yesterday? I'm talking to Mr. Michael Perry here, and I had a meeting with the team. I said, you know what's interesting, Chris? Listen to this theory. And I'm going to test it. So I'm just giving you a sneak behind the curtain. I will never consult anything unless I test it first and it works. So like, I'm not going to be telling people this, and I'm telling you, I don't know. So don't do it. But my Curry Ford location, the one that I said had the ducks and the cats and the bullets and stuff behind the gas station, 3 months ago, I moved them across the street into a shopping center, literally just across the street. Got them away from that, just across the street in a big shopping plaza. Well, that school, last month they did $73,000. David Rodriguez at our Curry Ford school, $73,000. Okay. The direct mailer, now he's in a lower income area. Our Curry Ford school's in a lower income area. They did $73,507.42. 17 new students, 12 upgrades, 2 renewals. Solid month, right? Well, that was the direct mailer I did. But I looked at his school and I'm like, man, we all think that it's the high income people that are joining martial arts. I said, I want to do the same flyer, the same thing, but I want to lower the household income. And I want to see if we get a bigger bang for our buck, targeting a lower income, a lower household income. I feel like high income people are getting bombarded more. Maybe they're a little bit more, they pay attention. They're more savvy to paying attention to solicitations and stuff maybe. But I'm going to try it again at a lower income. And I bet you, I will tell you, come MayaCon in July, if I do this mailer and I say I want household incomes at 60,000, not 80,000, and I get a bunch more opt-ins, I will be sharing that information at the next event. So I'm going to test that out. So I'll let you know. Okay. All right. What else, Chris?
All right. So as we wrap up here, we do a lot of these webinars. We do a lot of events, in-person events. And, sometimes you see the same faces over and over again, and they're still in the same spot that they were 6 months ago, a year ago. And it just comes down to execution. You have to execute. And one of my favorite things to do is when I join, webinars and trainings like this, or even when I'm reading a book, there's a difference between listening and studying, right? You can read a book, enjoy the time that you spent reading it, or you can study it and you can actually do the exercises that they talk about in the book. You can highlight, you can underline, you can write in the book, right? It's the difference between just showing up and listening versus studying. And if you kind of struggle with maybe feeling that information overload at the end of one of these, because you just got a lot of really valuable information, this is what you should do. So you're just going to write 3 to 5 takeaways. You might have 15 or 20 takeaways, but the reality is you're not going to implement all of them. You're going to set yourself up for failure. So pick 3 to 5, and you're going to write the takeaway down. And then what is the problem that it's going to solve? Because that's really where you should be focusing your time and energy, is what problem in my business is this solving right now? It might be a great idea, but what if it's not really solving a problem that you're having? Might not be the best thing for you to prioritize. Then you're just going to write down the high-level action steps. So step number 1, we got to pick a date. Step number 2, we got to pick a name. Step number 3, I got to go through the power stack of the 5 levels of marketing, okay? And then if you have a team that can help you with this, who are the key players that could potentially, that you could delegate some of this stuff? And then what is the best outcome? And I think that's important to write. What is the result that you are aiming to get? So this is an exercise that you can do after any webinar, any masterclass, any type of course or training or event that you go through. And then you can just have this 1-page document with those, 3 to 5 max takeaways, the problem it's going to solve, the high-level action steps you need to implement, the key players, and then the best outcome. Now, for those of you that do have teams, and I know there's a good portion of you that do because we polled you on day 1, you're probably pumped up and excited and fired up from this, and you're going to come back and maybe word vomit all of these ideas on them. And at the end of the day, you really got to get them to buy in and commit. So maybe that means having them watch a portion of one of the replays, right? We give you guys access to all of the recordings. But like Mr. Metzger always says, it's all about presentation, right? We don't want to run back to the team and say, hey, here's the 30 different to-dos that you have to go and get done. We need to present this in a way so that we can get buy-in and we can commit. So those are your action steps. Hopefully you were taking notes throughout this. You weren't just here to listen. You were here to study. And again, this is something you can use whether you go to an event or a webinar, masterclass, anything like that. Okay. As a reminder, we have had a handful of you join us already with Maya Elite, which is so awesome. This is everything you guys are going to get a part for being a part of Maya Elite. I'm going to drop the sign up link in here as a reminder. You're getting special pricing. First month, it's only $250, then $500, then $750, and then the normal price of $1097. And that's all that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. Here's the thing. No one likes to be sold, right? Some of you on here are thinking, okay, they did the 3-day webinar to just get us to sign up. Correct. That is correct. We did. But we also wanted to make sure we give you great information if you don't sign up. But instead of having a knee-jerk reaction of, oh, here it is, they want us to sign up, ask yourself, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to try it? Like, that's the thing. People always say, Mr. Metzger, how did you go from $4 a class to 125 million in real estate, to 9 locations, $6 million a year, to a licensing? The decisions that I've made in life. That's how. Being open-minded, investing in myself. I mean, that is the reality, right? I already told you before, if you're not thinking we're doing our job, or if you're just not doing yours, quit the program. I'll even tell the guys to write it on there. We are not interested in people who are not interested in growing, right? But my point is instead of having a knee-jerk reaction of, yeah, I'll do this late. Like, what is there to think about exactly? What do you think? If you say, well, I got to think about how I can afford it. If you put $250 on a credit card and you give one of these consultants 30 days, I promise you, they will make you more than $250 extra in 30 days. Maybe I'm lying, right? That's the risk you got to take. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not lying, but maybe I'm wrong. That's the risk. But I've been doing this 25 years. I'm not wrong. I'm just not. So I would hope that you would just take a leap and try it, because I just know what we can do. It's funny, Paula Smith put in there, it took her, what did she say, 2 years? Participating in Core 4 took me 3 months to say yes. Best decision ever. That was 2 years ago. We're now an affiliate. You won't regret it. Just have to be willing to learn and implement. That's what I want all of you to say, right? I mean, so I get passionate about this. I know it comes across as I'm being really pushy, but I also know how many people are trying to sell you stuff. I just know what we do will help you. That's why I'm so passionate. Sorry, Chris.
All good. We have 7 minutes left. We do have a hard stop time at 2 p.m., but are there any final questions that Mr. Metzger can answer quickly?
No.
Anything at all?
There are no questions that I can answer quickly.
Let us know, guys, in the chat. I know we answered a lot of questions throughout each one of the sessions today. We made sure to go through all of the comments and make sure they were answered. But anything else before we wrap up?
Anything? Chris, once we sign off, right? Because I don't know this. Like for me, I'd be wondering, like, how would I sign up if I decide in 20 minutes that I want to sign up? How do you get the link?
Yeah, I mean, I will continue to drop it, but in the recordings, when we send out the recordings today, we will also have the sign up link in there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know tech stuff, guys. If you ever want to email me, I'm still at AOL.com. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm loyal to the core. I'm AOL till death.
So private lessons, half an hour or an hour. Mr. Tassel answered it there. Your choice. Typically do 30 minutes for kids and 60 for adults. Oof, keep this answer short, because we could literally do 3 days just on this question alone. But any advice on how to grow staff when you don't have anyone in-house?
Yes, we have full SOP on that, and onboarding and training. Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. Yes, you have to have a system in place to do that, for sure.
So I kind of think of this concept in business. You can either build talent or you can borrow talent. And obviously building talent takes a while, right? And there are systems that you have to start implementing in order to build that talent. But borrowing talent would mean going to places like Indeed and ZipRecruiter and putting out job postings, or even going into martial arts Facebook groups. When I was looking for an instructor in my school, Gracie Pack, and I didn't have someone, I went into martial arts Facebook groups and offered relocation packages, which is very common in, like, you know, the corporate world, that if you're in an area where, man, there just might not be a lot of options, could you relocate somebody there? So, you know, I personally think the absolute best way is to build it versus borrow it. But if you are in a place where you do need to borrow it, I've found 2 really great instructors off of Indeed. And, you know, the process with launching a job posting on Indeed, it's not very difficult. I would recommend sponsoring it, kind of like boosting a post that you would on Facebook, and potentially offering some form of relocation package. That's something that Mr. Metzger has done multiple times. He's relocated instructors when they just didn't have anybody that was ready to take those positions. Okay.
Hey, Chris, do you see someone's getting an error message?
I'm not sure on which link are you getting the error message, because everything is working on my end. Might potentially, if you're on a mobile device, so that is the sign up link.
Hey, and Shiloh, listen, hey guys, look, let me do this for you, all of you, because this is how I'm just going to tell you, because I know it's not going to be the majority of you. Write this down. I'm going to give you my cell number. And was it William? Yeah, William, I'll have somebody reach out to you as well. All right, everybody. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah. And as a reminder, we will get all of the recordings out. It's on the same link that we've been sharing. You'll get any of the keynotes as well. Mr. Tassel, if you could send me your keynote, please, sir, that'd be great.
I sent it to Brian. He's already on it.
No way.
True story.
Look at that.
William, 321-228-7875.
It's also
But
in the
we'll call
chat.
you William. Michael Perry call you soon. The link is not recording. The link not recording. Shelly, hey, how are you, Shelly? Miss Baker. Reception is not okay.
Yes. So the link, we will put the sign up link in the recording emails that we send out.
All
And
right.
It's here again as well for you.
Yep. Maya Wealth Seminar is July 18th, the day before MayaCon starts. July 18th is the wealth seminar for the UE clients or for the wealth clients. So thank you guys. Thank you, Tass. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, guys,
everyone.
make it a great day.